I don't know what to make of what the Mavericks did Friday night.
Oh, I mean, pretty easy.
I know they didn't want to.
They
Didn't want to give their draft choice to the Knicks. It was protected if it's in the top 10.
Yep.
And they were sitting there at 10. If they made the playoffs, they'd be in a play-in game. They'd probably be on the road twice. They wouldn't have a home game. If they just snuck in, they would have a chip in a chair, to use a poker phrase. But they've got Luka Doncic, and they've got Kyrie Irving, and they had the 6th seed when they made the trade. And they looked like they were a team that could go on a run and get back to the conference finals as they did last year. I totally understand what they did and why they did it, and I just think it absolutely stinks that they did it. And I think the NBA saying that they're going to investigate what happened, I mean, I'll be a witness. I just told you what happened.
Yeah,
like, what are you investigating?
Yeah. And who cares if they find them? Like, Mark Cuban's just going to scratch a check.
But it's not just that, too. It's just like, so why aren't you investigating the Blazers? I took my son to a Clipper-Blazers game Saturday, and Coop is as locked in on the NBA as possible. He's 12. We're walking into the game. He goes, will Damian Lillard play today, Dad? No. As a matter of fact, he hasn't played in weeks. Is he hurt? Nope. And the Blazers had back-to-back games this weekend against the Clippers, who were the 5 seed. And, you know, the Lakers, if they had any hopes of getting out of the play-in tournament, they needed the Clippers to lose. And you could say to the Lakers, then you shouldn't have lost to the Clippers when you played them. Play better. Totally get it. The Warriors, the 6th seed. The Blazers played the 5 seed and the 6 seed in the Western Conference standings, back-to-back games. And the Warriors put 55 on the Blazers in front of their home fans in the first quarter on Sunday, essentially ending any concept of the Warriors dropping all the way into the play-in tournament. I took a photograph of the starting 5 for the Blazers on the board for the clip in crypto. Shaedon Sharpe has been a revelation since he's gotten some run. Kevin Knox, the second, had a double-double. He scored over 30 points and 10 rebounds, and they made a game of it for the first half. But the second half was a blowout. I mean, is this what? And again, this conversation's going to go away. The play-in game features LeBron James against the Timberwolves team that fought it out in their huddle to the point where Rudy Gobert might be left home for the playoffs. Although he did apologize to his teammates for throwing a punch at Kyle Anderson. And, you know, God bless Woj. He got the full transcript of what Anderson said. He said some magic words at Rudy Gobert. But to merit a thrown punch, this is all going to go away when the playoffs hit. I mean, Warriors-Kings is going to be great. Clippers-Suns is going to be great. This playoffs is going to be great. But let's not forget, a Western Conference Finals team pulled the plug on their team, still with an opportunity to win a playoff spot because they didn't want to give up a draft choice that was protected if it finished in the top 10. And woe to the Mavericks. I mean, if one of the teams below them hits the lottery somehow and wins a spot in the top 3, right? Then the Mavericks go from 10th to 11th, and the Knicks get that draft choice anyway. So they could have tanked for nothing. Yeah. Tanks for nothing, to use a phrase from Caddyshack. They could tank for nothing, and then that would be would that be, if this does happen in the lottery, and even if it doesn't, one of the worst flameouts of a team that blew up their roster to acquire somebody to make everybody think they can go on a run. Luka and Kyrie together, they when Kyrie left the arena the first night he played and they won, and he's hanging out man of the people with all the Mavs fans who are like, hey, love you, you love us, we love you, total love fest. If you had told me that night they would pull the plug on the team the final Friday of the season to save themselves a draft choice because it had gone so poorly that they fell out of the playoffs, I'd have told you you're nuts. One of the worst flameouts in the history of a deadline trade for a team that made the conference finals the year before with so many hopes. And this is what the NBA now has. Teams pulling the plug. and pulling the plug on a premier player. Luka said Sunday he still didn't like it. I don't like it. I guess he should have played better. Is that the answer? I don't know.
I think he was an MVP candidate.
Holy cow.
He did all he could do.
They sent a bunch of good players to Brooklyn for Kyrie, and they fall out of the playoffs and pull the plug on the season with games to go? Because it was better for them to keep the draft choice or go into the lottery still holding on to the draft choice. That's basically the choice. Than to try and win basketball games to get in a play-in tournament. Knock Oklahoma. Oklahoma City lost the first overall pick in the draft. Chet Holmgren. And they made it over the Mavs. What a disaster. Isn't that what Windhorst called it? A roster-building nightmare? Disaster? So the Oklahoma City Thunder chose first overall, lost the guy, didn't even get a single second out of him on the floor in the season, and they make the playoffs, and the Mavs pull the plug to make sure, let you go. You go. Honestly, it's embarrassing. You walk into the Shark Tank to sell that, Cuban would normally be out on that. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.